Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something I think is really important. It's a bit challenging maybe, but definitely empowering.
Absolutely. We're looking at how to steer clear of some common, roadblock.
Exactly. We're tackling that big question, why do so many people seem to stumble or, fail to reach what they're aiming for?
And crucially, how you listening can avoid those traps.
Right. We've gone through a lot of material research, case studies, articles, and honestly, one thing just kept popping up again and again.
Which is,
That failure, well, it's usually not about just bad luck. It seems to be much more about these bad patterns people fall into.
patterns of thinking, patterns of behavior.
Yes. So our mission today for all of us is pretty simple. Let's break them together.
Sounds like a plan. Where do we start?
Okay, so the first big one, and this one's tough, is what some sources call pretty bluntly the drug of the unsuccessful. Excuses.
Excuses. We all know them.
We really do. Think about it. How often do we hear or maybe even catch ourselves saying stuff like, oh, I just didn't get the lucky break, or my parents never really backed me.
Or the classic, I don't have the resources, I don't have the time.
Totally. I'm too busy right now. Or that little voice saying, maybe later. It's pervasive.
It really is. And the psychology behind it is, it's quite interesting. These excuses, they feel so true in the moment, don't they?
Yeah, they feel legitimate.
They do. They give you that short-term relief, protect your ego from feeling, inadequate or scared of failing. But the kicker is, as the research shows, they trap you.
How so?
They essentially destroy your potential for growth. It's more than just stopping you. It reinforces this cycle. It's almost like you train your brain to look for the excuse first.
Wow. Is that the self-handicapping thing?
Exactly. That's what psychologists often call self-handicap.
Yeah.
We kind of sometimes, without even realizing it, create obstacles for ourselves so we have a built-in reason if we don't succeed. It protects us from feeling like we failed.
So it's like a defense mechanism that backfires spectacularly in the long run.
Precisely. And we found this really compelling story about a guy named Jaden. Perfect example.
Okay, tell me about Jaden.
So you had this dream, right? Start a YouTube channel. But for years, literally years, he was stuck.
Stuck how?
Stuck on the excuses. I need a better microphone. My camera isn't good enough. I need professional lighting. You know the drill.
Oh, I know that drill. The perfect setup paralysis.
Exactly that.
Huh.
3 whole years went by. 0 videos.
3 years, that's dedication to not starting.
Right. Then one day, something shifted. He just borrowed a friend's phone,
Yeah.
used daylight for lighting, filmed something, and just posted it.
You just did.
He just did it. And that first video, kind of against all odds,
Yeah.
it took off, hit like 500,000 views.
Wow, just from deciding to act instead of excuse.
Exactly. And now he's doing it full time. But point is, action broke the cycle.
Okay, so that brings us to a really practical tip for everyone listening. When you hear yourself making an excuse, that internal voice starting up, just pause for a second, breathe, and ask yourself this simple question. What can I do with what I have right now?
That's powerful. Shifting from lack to possibility, even tiny step.
Even a tiny step. It changes the focus immediately. Okay, so moving on from excuses, let's talk about comfort.
The comfort zone.
Yeah.
Or maybe the comfort addiction?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The second big reason we found people fail is this, addiction to comfort. It's like we want the results without the struggle.
Oh, absolutely. We want to be rich without the risk.
Or fit without the pain.
Fluid in English without actually practicing.
Right. It's the outcome we crave, but we resist the messy, uncomfortable process that actually gets us there.
It's human nature, wanting ease. But the sources we looked at are pretty blunt about this.
How blunt.
Brutally blunt. Like, if you don't learn how to handle being uncomfortable, you're probably never going to achieve anything really meaningful. Full stop.
Ouch. But it makes sense.
And there's science behind it too, which is fascinating. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt.
Okay.
Well, the research is clear. Your brain grows, it forms new connections, it gets stronger when it's challenged, when it's pushed outside its comfort zone.
So avoiding discomfort isn't just keeping you stuck.
It's actively limiting your brain's potential. You're essentially telling your brain, no need to grow, we're good here. It kills your brain's growth potential, as one source put it.
That's a really sobering thought. We're physically limiting ourselves by playing it safe.
We are. And again, there's a great story illustrating this. Fatima from Morocco.
Okay, Fatima.
She was incredibly shy, apparently, but she had this secret ambition. She wanted to be a public speaker.
That sounds like a recipe for intense discomfort for someone shy.
Absolutely. And for years, that fear of judgment, of messing up in front of people, just paralyzed her.
So what changed?
She forced herself. She signed up to speak for just 1 minute at a school event. Just 60 seconds.
Oh, man, I can imagine the nerves.
Totally.
Yeah.
Apparently, the microphone was shaking in her hand. Her voice was cracking. She got through it.
She did it.
She faced the discomfort.
She did. And the outcome.
Impressive.
Now, she regularly speaks to audiences of hundreds. She didn't conquer the fear overnight, but she fell in love with growth, not ease. That's the key.
Fell in love with growth, not ease. I like that. So for you listening, what's the takeaway?
It's actually quite simple, but not necessarily easy.
Right.
Every day, try to do just one thing that makes you feel a bit uncomfortable. Just one.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, maybe talk to a stranger if that scares you. Record a short video of yourself talking. Apply for that job you think is slightly out of reach. Or, hey, speak only in English for the next hour.
Small things, but they push the boundary.
Exactly, because remember that phrase, growth lives where fear lives. You have to step into the fear, into the discomfort, to actually expand.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've covered excuses and comfort addiction. What's next on the list of failure patterns?
Procrastination. Possibly the sneakiest, most dangerous success killer of them all.
Ah, procrastination. My old friend. We often just think it's laziness, right? Oh, I'll do it later.
We do. But the sources we dug into consistently framed it differently. It's often not laziness at all. It's fear in disguise.
Fear. Fear of what?
Could be anything. Fear of failing, definitely. Fear of being judged. But also, sometimes, strangely enough, fear of success. Fear of the change success might bring.
Fear of success. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, but think about it. Success means change. Higher expectations, maybe leaving people behind. It can be daunting in its own way. So we delay. We put it off.
And that constant tomorrow, it adds up.
It really does. There's this almost philosophical insight that came up. Tomorrow's where dreams go to die. It sounds dramatic, but
But it feels true.
yeah. The point isn't that you run out of actual time on the clock. It's that you run out of chances. Opportunities pass. Doors close.
You missed the window, like that story about Omar.
Exactly. Omar, the software developer from Pakistan, brilliant guy apparently, had this amazing idea, $1 million idea he called it.
Okay, sounds promising.
He spent 8 months meticulously planning everything, designing logos, writing outlines, creating this perfect detailed launch plan.
8 months of planning. So he launched it, right?
Nope. He never launched.
Right, and why not?
He was waiting for it to be absolutely unequivocally perfect. He kept tweaking, refining, waiting for the right moment.
Oh no, let me guess.
Yep. 2 years later, someone else launched a very similar app. And as the source said, it blew up.
Wow. Omar's perfect plan stayed a plan, while someone else's good enough action succeeded.
That's the tragedy of procrastination driven by perfectionism. So the action tip here is super simple, but really effective.
Let's hear it.
It's called the 2-minute rule.
The 2-minute rule.
Yeah. The idea is if a task takes less than 2 minutes to start, just do it.
Yeah.
Right now, don't think, just do.
So like, open the laptop,
Or write just one line of that email.
record one short clip.
Exactly. Just the very first step. Because the psychology behind it is that once you start, momentum takes over.
Ah, breaking the inertia.
Precisely. Getting started is often the hardest part. This rule hacks that initial resistance.
Yeah.
And often you'll find you keep going well past the 2 minutes.
That's a great practical hack. Okay, momentum is key. Let's move to the final major hurdle we identified.
Right. The fourth one. This is about lack of clarity.
Lack of clarity. So this isn't about being lazy or scared necessarily.
Not always. Sometimes people are working really hard, they're putting in the hours, but they're just scattered.
Scattered how?
Chasing random goals, maybe copying what they see someone else doing successfully, switching focus every other week. This week I'm doing X, next week I'm trying Y.
Right, the shiny object syndrome.
Exactly. And the bottom line is, success needs direction. If your goals are fuzzy or constantly changing, your results are going to be fuzzy too. You can't hit a target, you can't see clearly.
That makes intuitive sense. Does the brain science back this up too?
It does, significantly. Our brains are actually wired for goal-oriented behavior. Having clear, specific goals literally activates the prefrontal cortex.
Okay, the planning and decision-making part of the brain.
That's the one. Clear goals essentially switch it on, boosting focus, motivation, problem solving. Without that clarity, your brain is kind of idling. It doesn't have a clear instruction to execute on.
So without a clear what and why, the brain just doesn't engage fully. It's like giving vague directions.
Exactly. You wouldn't expect to arrive at a specific destination with vague directions.
Right.
Same principle. We found a story about Alejandro that nails this.
Alejandro, the artist.
Yeah, multi-talented guy.
Yeah.
But he was all over the place. Tried YouTube, then freelance writing, then dove into drop shipping, then started vlogging, all within about 3 months.
Wow, that's a lot of switching. Did anything work?
Nope. Nothing gained any real traction because he never stuck with anything long enough. He was just flitting around.
So what turned it around for him?
A mentor gave him some really straightforward advice.
Yeah.
Basically told him, pick one thing, just one, commit to it for 6 months, and track your progress daily.
Simple, but probably hard to do after trying so many things. What did he pick?
He chose graphic design, and he actually followed the advice, focused, learned, practiced, posted his work consistently.
And the result?
Now he runs a digital art agency, pulling in, reportedly, $10,000 a month.
Incredible. Just from picking one thing and sticking to it with clarity.
The power of focus. So the action tip for everyone listening to get that clarity today is this.
Okay, I'm ready.
Grab something to write with and write down the answers to 3 questions. First, what do I really want to achieve in the next 12 months? Be specific.
Okay, question 1.
Second, what is the one primary thing I will focus on every single week to move toward that 12-month goal? Just one main focus.
One weekly focus. Got it.
And third, what is one measurable action I can track every single day to ensure I'm making progress on that weekly focus? Something concrete you can tick off.
Daily trackable action. That really forces clarity.
It does. Writing it down makes it real, gives your brain that clear target it needs.
Okay, so we've covered the 4 big patterns: excuses, comfort addiction, procrastination, and lack of clarity. Let's try and wrap this up, maybe a quick recap.
Yeah, let's summarize. So the deep dive suggests most people stumble because, 1, they make excuses, blaming external factors.
2, they avoid discomfort, staying stuck where it's safe but growthless.
3, they procrastinate, letting fear or perfectionism delay action indefinitely.
And 4, they lack clarity, chasing scattered goals without real direction.
Now, contrast that with what we consistently see in highly successful individuals based on the material.
Okay.
They tend to do the opposite. 1, they take responsibility, owning their actions and outcomes.
2, they actively seek growth, leaning into challenges and discomfort.
3, they take fast action, often before they feel fully ready, embracing iteration.
And 4, they have laser focus, knowing exactly what they're aiming for and sticking to it.
It's a fundamentally different operating system.
It really is. And there was this quote that jumped out at me, kind of sums it all up. Success is not an accident, it is engineered.
Engineered, how so?
Engineered by thoughts, habits, and courage. I thought that was powerful. It's built, not stumbled upon.
I like that. Engineered. It implies conscious construction.
Exactly. So, look, if you've been listening to this and feeling maybe a bit stuck or distracted or just overwhelmed, maybe see this deep dive as a kind of wake-up call.
A gentle nudge, perhaps.
A gentle nudge. We've all been in those places, right? It's part of being human. But the key takeaway is you can change the pattern.
Absolutely. It starts small.
It does. Remember, start small, start scared, even. That's okay. But the most important thing, start today.
Yeah. Don't let tomorrow claim another dream. And maybe, as a final thought for everyone to chew on,
Go for it.
ask yourself this honestly. What's one specific pattern, one excuse, one comfort-seeking habit, one form of procrastination? What's one thing you'll stop doing, starting right now?
Make it concrete. Make it immediate. I love that. Because ultimately, that's what this whole deep dive boils down to, isn't it?
What's that?
Break the patterns, build the life you want, master your mind.